Hello, friends and colleagues online and here. It is a huge pleasure for me to be able to introduce you to Andy Donovan. I wanted to invite Andy here because I think a lot about our trainees and where they're going to go next, and the life sciences sector is where many of our trainees go next. So I thought it would be amazing to bring in a leader in this field to come and speak to us about transferring success in the lab. So Andy Donovan spent over 30 years, which isn't it weird being the same age as old people? I find it weird, you know, we've been working for 30 years already. But I got to know him when he was working at the Lung Health Foundation, and he was the director of development there. After he left that position, he went and joined Life Sciences Ontario, where for I think about maybe five or 6 years, he was involved with member engagement and business development, but then got promoted and is now the vice president of strategic partnerships. So it is such a wonderful honor to bring someone of this caliber in to talk to you about careers in the life sciences. Today's presentation is going to be recorded, so I'd encourage you to share it with your friends and colleagues. I realized that I booked today's speaker on MedSci Grad Day, so I know that some people aren't able to attend based on that. But I am just so thrilled and so grateful that you would take the time to come and spend with our trainees and give them this incredible opportunity. So please join me in thanking Andy Donovan.
Thanks so much, Don. Always tough act to follow. As Don mentioned, my name is Andy Donovan. I work with an organization known as Life Sciences Ontario, and I am the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships. What that really means is I get to do all the fun things, which is develop relationships and nurture them so that I can help grow the footprint of life sciences. When I was first approached about this opportunity, I started thinking about what it is that I could impart to you that would be of value. And as you're sitting in the chairs here in the auditorium, as well as at home, I'm sure that you're thinking about life after McMaster and what lays ahead. So I just wanted to, let's see. I am technically challenged here. Oh, here we go. There we go. Where I wanted to start with everyone is everybody take a breath. We talked about the Lung Health Foundation. Without your lungs, without breathing, nothing else works. So when you're thinking about your career beyond the hallowed halls here in Hamilton, think of it in this way. There is no right answer. There is no one course that will take you from point A to the gold watch. I don't think the gold watch ever existed. But what you're seeing here is what one of my esteemed colleagues, Dr. Maura Campbell, uses time and again. She is the president and CEO of Obio, another name that you'll want to get to know. What you're going to see throughout this presentation is, you know, where we want you to think. We want you to think in the fact that there is no linear start to finish before your career ends. And really, realistically, your career should never end. So here it is. Here's a squiggly line that tells you everything you need to know about what you have to look forward to. And what I want to do is kind of reinforce the fact that there is no straight line. You will be presented opportunities that will allow you to pivot, change your direction, and, you know, just as you've done in your academic career, you know, adapt to the new surroundings, adapt to whatever has been presented to you, so that you can set yourself up for success. Now, we introduced me and my title and who I work with. Life Sciences Ontario is technically an industry association, but we consider ourselves more community-based because we represent more than just industry. And the way we define industry is any organization that falls under pharma, medtech, biotech, agritech, industrial biotech, but also all the service providers that feed into those fields, whether it be an accounting firm, law firm, academic institution, regional government, individuals, and of course, students. When I got out of university, and this is long before a lot of you were born, back in 1988 from Carleton University, I had a BA in political science and law. So naturally, I thought I was going to become a lawyer. Well, the LSAT said no twice. So what did that allow me to do? That allowed me to see things in a little bit more of a different lens. Just like a lot of students, when they come out and they get their diploma and they've got some high hopes as to what's out there, I had no idea what was out there. But the one thing I knew I could do is build relationships. And that led me to, sort of see what are the careers out there that allow me to sort of capitalize on that. So in terms of choosing a different path from law school, I took a look at it and I said, my background is Irish heritage. We're famous for telling a story that has 13 different avenues before I get to the point. But I shifted my focus. I liked telling stories. I liked connecting people's needs with or opportunities that allowed me to connect funders, goals and objectives with the needs of those that were in most need of it. And as Don said, one of the many charitable organizations I worked with was the Lung Health Foundation that allowed me to sort of see where that could take me. Relationship building is key. It's number one. What that led me to is at some point in my career, I decided, and many of you as students will take a look at your career paths as, do I stay in academia? Do I get a job in industry? Or do I become an entrepreneur? The opportunities are out there. It's a question of being able to connect the dots. And that's what I really hope we can do today to sort of set the stage for you as you look at life beyond here. So it allowed me to go into consulting. And so what I did with consulting, I wanted to work with organizations that either needed someone, if you will, to teach them how to fish or fish for them. It was a phenomenal experience. And this is why I say it's pivot, change, given all of the opportunities that are provided to you. And one of the greatest experiences I ever had was working with the UN High Commissioner for Refugees and overseeing the relationships being built here as they built a technology access center and then eventually a safe and secure high school for girls in the camp. And then the long and winding road brought me back into business development. And when I was asked to become a member of Life Sciences Ontario, at first, as I was telling Don before here, it was kind of not going back into not-for-profit, but it was the opportunity. And that's one of the things I want to impart to you is that when you are looking for your first career or an extension of whether it be a co-op or intern, chase the opportunity, don't chase the money. If you do your job well enough, the money will follow. So that's kind of where my road led me to where I am today. And so I want to talk about the current landscape that's out there. Of course, there is economic uncertainty out there based on so many factors. Number one, of course, geopolitical. Whatever's happening down in the States has ripple effects throughout, whether it's tariffs, whether it's the war in the Middle East. There's always going to be some sort of economic uncertainty out there. There's funding pressures across the board. Whether you're an academic institution or you're a corporation, you still have those challenges you have to take a look at. Shifting job markets, a lot of positions that were in existence yesterday are no longer in existence. But that gives you an opportunity to sort of see what's out there, see what you can build. And I've always marveled at a lot of the students that have met at McMaster, and our roots run deep. We used to have a scholarship. Sorry, it doesn't exist anymore, thanks to geopolitical uncertainty. But we used to give out 36 scholarships to life sciences students with a $3,000 cash award, but more importantly, a guaranteed one-on-one senior leader executive mentorship. The leading university in Ontario was McMaster. So, you know, there's a lot to be proud of. You've got so many great people that are behind you that will allow you to see a broader vision here. As I mentioned, that when I talk to students, some of the areas that they're focused on is remaining in academia, taking a job in industry. There's also government and policy, and as I say, consulting. Entrepreneurship is still out there. So don't limit yourself into what you think or preconceived notions that you had coming into university. You already know from first year to where you are now, it's completely different. The landscape is totally different. You've learned so much, and you've got so much to offer potential employers out there. It's just a question of being open to all of the opportunities that may exist. Give you some sense of what employers are looking at. And I'll quote BioTalent Canada. They are the HR conduit to the bioeconomy. And one of the things they did during the pandemic is a lot of market intelligence. And what they wanted to know is what, from an industry perspective, could universities and colleges do to help prepare the talent pool that was coming out of academia and into potential industry jobs. The two areas that they said were glaring skills gaps were a lot of colleges and universities were graduating people who didn't have the basic math skills to do the job that they were hired to do. More importantly, they didn't have the soft skills that were required to do things like a summary report, networking. And networking will be a key theme throughout the rest of this presentation because that's really the key to your success. So what they've done is they've created, and other organizations like Castle and Admire have created skills-based programming that allow you to bridge success from campus to success in industry. So keeping your eye on opportunities like that to hone your skills, to prepare you for what industry is asking academia to provide is going to be an important element to your success. So as you probably experienced, there are co-ops and internships. Where are you going to find those? Primarily, you're going to find them on job boards like BioTalent Canada's job board known as the Petri Dish. And there you're going to be able to find out not so much where are the jobs that mirror what I'm looking to do. You're going to find the companies that are hiring. And that's really key to know which ones are offering co-ops and internships. Every year, Roche Canada and Sanofi open up their co-ops to at least 37 spots each. Once you get in there, you know, it's the old adage, once you get past the threshold, it's up to you as to how successful you are. Within that, you're taking a look at what are the opportunities to network within my own team, within the team outside of it. And now, you know, cultures like Roche Canada, and I'll say that because I know the president and CEO, Brigitte Nollet, who is a former board member of ours, has created this culture where it's very welcoming. She's a very busy person, but if you show initiative, she's going to carve out 30 minutes in her time, and that becomes immeasurable. The other thing I want you to be able to take a look at is how do you translate what you've done here into impact and success in finding that next job. Make no bones about it. Your next challenge will be turning a full-time job into finding a full-time job. And it really is all-encompassing. We'll touch upon a couple of key areas that you're going to have to be aware of, but you really need to understand what are these companies looking for in terms of the next round of talent. And the only way you can do that, if you're in co-op or internship, is ask questions. There's a very famous book, it's called the Aladdin Factor. And it was written by the two authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And what they said was one of the key assets that you need to do to get everything you've ever wanted in life is ask questions. When you think you've asked enough, ask some more. I know it sounds rudimentary, it sounds basic, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people forget the number one thing in communication is not communication, it's comprehension. I can present anything I want to you. If you don't get what I'm talking about, you will walk out of here with your own assumptions, and I will have missed the opportunity to impart what I was trying to communicate to you. So understanding the business context can only come from asking those questions. And then, of course, the key to building and expanding a network is taking a look at opportunities to volunteer. There's no better way, there's no better conduit to work with somebody in business than work with somebody around a volunteer table. They already know what you're like. They already know what your business acumen is. So that can go a long way to sort of help set you up for success. Obviously these aren't these are some basics. You're worried about job security, you're worried about limited academic positions, and you're right to be worried about that, because as I was saying to Don before this, one of the other universities in Ontario did a study on that they called 10,000 PhDs, and what they did is they followed the career trajectory of their PhDs and where they ended up. And a very small percentage ended up in academia. Over 40% ended up in life sciences. So that's where we believe life sciences is the most untapped resource in this country. And it's really going to help transition us into a world leader. So how do you transition out of research into potential jobs? Because you're not going to stay in the lab. A lot of times you're going to find yourself going into areas like market access, commercialization, that type of thing. So it's finding out, how do I do that? What skills do I need to be able to satisfy those? As I say, it's not linear. Where you start is not necessarily where you end up finishing. So where to start? We talked about the job boards. There's three that I always share, and long after this I can share with Don and Ashley about where are these. They are BioTalent Canada's Petri dish. They're Obio, they're Admare. They are promoting the job opportunities of their members. The next one is really build a network, start early. Some of the number one communication tool you're going to be used, and we're all of the age of social media, is going to be LinkedIn. And I'll tell you the key behind LinkedIn, and I can't emphasize this enough, is invest in a professional headshot. I'm not trying to be glib here, but the dress or the tux you had at last year's wedding is lovely. It's very handsome. It is not meant for LinkedIn. The sunset over Santorini, I've been there. I love it, but not for LinkedIn. And finally, your fluffy cat does not deserve the promotion it's getting online, especially when you have open to work. You're not being taken seriously, and I want you to be taken seriously. And I want you to think about building out your LinkedIn profile as the first introduction for these employers before they even get to talk to you. And you want to build it out and make it look like it's a progression of success. Highlight a diverse skill set. Don't just focus on what you've accomplished here, and make no bones about it. What you've accomplished here is amazing. But talk about other things, like highlight some of the volunteer opportunities that you've used. Give them context as to how that is relevant to what you're hoping to do, because what you're trying to build, whether it's LinkedIn, a resume, or your cover letter, is you're trying to build up this sense of success, and I'm going to bring this success to this opportunity. So one of the greatest ways you can do that is get mentors. I always say to students, take a look at the key influencers online, engage with them. Dawn's a perfect example. Like her posts, comment, repost them. What you're doing there is you're building up your credibility with her, but you're also helping her expand her footprint. So it's really something of mutual benefit. And we've talked ad nauseum about not focusing on linear career paths. There's so many opportunities out there. You just have to ask about them. We talked about how do we stand out. One of the things that I think you should really consider is taking a look at belonging to a community. And I'm not here to push Life Sciences Ontario's association membership. I really want people to take a look and see, where do I feel that I belong, whether that's an association, whether that's a student group, a board of trade, or chamber of commerce. And if you do decide to go in that route and you decide to invest in it, jump in with both feet. Just don't pay the fee, because it's better off left in your bank account. And how I say to jump in: volunteer, amplify their messages. I'm a member of the Irish Canadian Chamber of Commerce for Toronto. And one of the greatest things that I've been able to bring to them is my amplification capabilities on LinkedIn. This attracts additional eyeballs. This attracts additional people to come out. So you're trying to make yourself stand out from the rest of the crowd. And then finally, attend all the events. We host a number of events throughout the year. We have signature events like our gala coming up in May. It's 650 C-suite level executives. Even if you can't pay the price to get in, because it can be hefty, volunteer. Work at reception. Work the tables. Get your face known. This year, we're fortunate enough to have been given the heads up that for the first time in 7 years, the Premier has it in his calendar. So we'll be able to confirm that in the coming weeks. But these are great platforms for you to really meet and introduce yourself. And one of the other assets that's available to you, don't just come up to us and ask, where's the coat check or where's the bathroom? Come up and ask a guy like me who's standing there, look, can you tell me if Doug Daniel from Sanofi is here? And if so, would you be willing to introduce me to him? I will do that in person, and I will do that virtually. And one of the things is, once I've established that mutual interest, I will do a virtual or in-person introduction, step out of the way, because nobody tells your story better than you. So utilize all of the assets that come with associations and memberships like that. Sometimes it's the Chamber of Commerce that gets you to the next level, right? So this is where I sort of reflect back on what I wish I knew in your shoes. There's no perfect job out there. It's really being able to educate yourself as to what is available. Who are some of the leaders within the industry? I've already mentioned Brigitte Nollet, one of the bastions. If you ever get a chance to listen to her, you'll see why so many people are energized to follow her into the trenches when it comes to healthcare. Your first role is going to be a learning experience, and it really falls under the category of it's what you make of it. As I say, don't chase the money, chase the opportunity and the leadership and the culture. You know, when you are interviewing, one of the things you can do to quell the butterflies, because we've all been in your position, is really come at it with the understanding you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. So you want to know what their ideal candidate looks like, what's success look like, what's their policy on DEI, what's upward mobility look like, because those are the elements that are going to help you determine whether this is a long-term or short-term stay. Networking. The 3 keys to success are going to be network, 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 and when you think you've done enough, do some more. I can't tell you, and I can tell you, I'm a perfect example. Had I not networked long in my back in my career, I wouldn't be here in front of you. The president and CEO of BioTalent Canada is a gentleman I met 25 years ago. We've worked together. We've kept in touch. We developed a friendship. And when my boss was looking for somebody to fill the role in his team, I was the first phone call that he made. So it is really line up the things that will help you connect the dots. No, as I say, nobody tells your story better than you, but figure out a way how you can do it. They all talk about the elevator pitch, where you've probably got 1 to 3 floors to really capture somebody's attention. You know, fine tune your narrative. What is it that makes you unique? And there are so many things about you that are unique. It's the same thing I tell my now 18-year-old triplets. You know, define your story. Don't let somebody else define it for you. We were just talking about my relationship with Rob Henderson at Biotalent Canada. It really comes through the people. Develop the relationships. If you develop the relationships, the investments for both will follow. And once again, be open-minded enough to be able to pivot. If something comes your way, give it a shot. You know what? Same thing when I was looking at consulting. I left a guaranteed paycheck and I went into consulting because I also said, you know, I don't want to be 20 years from now looking back and regretting it. So I think regret is one of the biggest wasted emotions in life. So don't fall into that trap. You know, why does this even, you know, why am I here in front of you? It's tried, tested, and true. It's like the old Chevy commercial, long before you guys were born once again. But you know what you've established is fantastic. But now it's a time for you. What skills do I need to come across and help me think outside the box? The importance of relationships. They drive the opportunity. Work the relationships you've developed amongst yourselves, with Don, with everybody here at McMaster. You have one of the greatest opportunities to learn what's available here within life sciences in Hamilton, because you have McMaster Innovation Park, you have Innovation Factory, you have Synapse. Get to know people who are like of the ilk of Dave Carter. Then get to know somebody who I call the great connector, Alex Mugga at Synapse. He knows everyone. And so when you have that in your toolbox, you are setting yourself up for success. And then become a master of storytelling. First and foremost, master your own story. And then start talking about some of the things that are happening within the industry. So if I can leave you with anything, it is, you know, just be open. You know, come at it with a new lens. Use your degree as a foundation. Don't use it as a limitation. A lot of times I will talk to mostly McMaster students who have come in here and said, I got my science degree. I came in here initially because I wanted to be a doctor. That's what my parents wanted me to be. But once I got in here, I realized I don't want to do that. I don't like the sight of blood. So I pivoted, and I'm staying in science, but now I'm taking a look at law school. And there are a lot of law firms out there that have a specialization in life sciences. Who better to hire for that specialization than a lawyer who has a science degree? And your skills are transferable. The number one skill is your ability to develop relationships. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm sorry I blathered on there, but I'm open to any questions if you might have them.
Amazing. Thank you. I have many questions. But, well, I will try to not ask them yet. Trinise, any questions, thoughts, reflections, things you were surprised to hear? I guess I'll start while they're thinking, but your comments that communication skills were a problem is consistent with another conversation I had with our biochem BDC program. Mm-hmm. And the head there, they had just done a survey and found that it was exactly what you said, that employers were really struggling to find people who could take big complex things and then summarize them in a way that was accessible to various audiences and things like that. And I reflect on this a lot because as a mentor and someone who teaches students, science writing is the hardest thing. And it's two different skills, like it's scientific writing your papers, and then it's layperson writing. Do you have any thoughts or resources or things that either these guys can use or someone like me can use to help teach those skills? Because that's hard.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that we are amplifiers and connectors, and that allows us to work with so many organizations. So keep BioTalent Canada on your radar, Castle and Admare, because they do talk about those skills-based um, talents that are necessary. The biggest thing we found, especially with COVID, we lost the fight, if you will, because science was up here, people's understanding was down here. And where do people go when they don't understand? They go to social media. And Twitter was already, we'd already lost it out of the gate. I did a program here, or I spoke about a program about science communication and the ability to take very complex concepts and turn it into something that the average 5-year-old would understand, or me. So I think there are or resources here on campus that you can plug into, but definitely those organizations would be phenomenal for anyone.
Yeah, my own experience, just to share that, is when I started working at the Lung Health Foundation talking to patients, that's when I really learned how to communicate in a way that was more accessible. And so again, I think your comment about volunteering is a great one, because absolutely, you know, there are skills that you pick up that you're not aware that you're picking up for that. Okay. I have more questions, but Ryan, do you have a question?
Yeah, thank you for that call. I'm familiar with bio and LSO. Well, familiar in the sense that I've heard.
Right.
But I'm not really sure exactly what the difference is between them and you know, where they are in the landscape of life science.
Absolutely.
Do you mind just explaining the difference between them and how they fit?
Sure. Obio and LSO actually started out as the same organization back in 1989, known as the Toronto Biotechnology Initiative. And what it started from was a group of pharmaceutical CEOs wanted to get together on a monthly basis to network, and then they added an educational component. About 15 years ago, the organizations went in two different directions. LSO, as you see it today, stayed true to what we started out as TBI. We wanted to be that amplifier connector, be an ecosystem builder, if you will, and host events, advocate. Obio was able to get a $10 million grant, I believe at the time, to become a funding organization. They've since morphed into a triumvirate with Mars, TAP, and themselves, known as Life Sciences Central. And what they do is, because one of the three key challenges our industry faces is access to talent, access to capital, and access to wet and dry labs. So what they wanted to do is pool all of their resources together to help startups and scale-ups get to that point. There's plenty of seed funding, there's plenty of scale-up funding, and then there's Series A. There's nothing in between, 2 to 10 million. That's where Obio, TAP, and Mars are trying to address. So we support each other. One of the reasons our CEO, Jason Field, was tapped to be the chair of the Life Sciences Council, which advised the Ford government as to what the next phase of the life sciences strategy should look like, was because LSO works with everyone. We're not a special interest group. We're more of an ecosystem builder. So we work with everyone.
Any other questions? I'm going to ask the one that seems to be on everyone's mind all the time, because I'm supporting some of my graduate students in their job search now. I'm seeing AI literacy as being a skill people want, and no one can tell me what AI literacy actually is and how, you know, our students can build such a skill. Do you have any thoughts on that?
You know, it's a great question. If I could answer it for you, then I would charge each and every one of you a little fee. No, but there are experts in there. There's a gentleman by the name of Mark Patterson from Magnet, who talks this same topic. We are holding for the first time ever a executive retreat in September. It's an opportunity to bring 20 of Canada's highest within the industry, 20 CEOs and GMs together to talk about AI literacy, health policy, talent, that type of thing. So I can definitely refer you to sort of pick this up with Mark. Mark's a very amenable guy. He does this all the time, and so I think that would probably be a better avenue for you.
I'd be super interested to learn because I have a feeling that it's one of these things everyone thinks they need, but nobody knows what it actually is. And so,
And that creates a lot of paralysis by analysis, right? You'll hear it from CEOs, and this is why we want to educate them. There'll be some who say, yes, I know we need it, but we don't know anything about it, to, yeah, let's jump in whole hog. Everybody get Chat GPT.
and then it kind of brings it back to that communication challenge. Well, if it's such a challenge to get people who could simplify things, I mean, I feel very strongly about communication, so I feel like it is a skill we need to build, or is it something we download to the AI to do that for us? And,
No, it's a skill we have to build because otherwise we get lazy.
yeah.
It's AI is a tool within our communication toolbox, but it is not meant to lead.
Good. Any other questions? Yes, Dr. Donovan.
I'm not looking for a no.
Yes, you never know.
I'm looking towards retirement. It's not about me, but I'm at the session doing research. But a lot of young people come to us for career advice because there is a notion, probably completely unfounded, in each place that in Canada, job opportunities for scientists and PhD scientists in life sciences are limited in the populated across Europe. They also look for pay, a good paying job, and 6-figure salary. It's very difficult to get in Canada, particularly for science degree. So they always look for additional qualifications on top of these. So PD advanced more than certain best. So this is for law, you mentioned an MBA or digital health informatics, AI, computer knowledge. So they are looking for additional over and above their PhD to make themselves employable in Canada. Is that true or not true?
There's some truth to that. I think we've always been challenged with the fact that we're an R&D company, our country. And the States, being the Goliath that it is, offers more opportunities at higher salaries. So that's why we always say, take into consideration more than just the salary. Take in all of the things that come with, getting a job at an academic institution, getting a job within a law firm, that type of thing. Fine-tuning skills is exactly why BioTalent Castle and Mari are in place. They're there to help the next generation, whether they're people who are transitioning out of a long-time career or students leaving the safety of the halls here at McMaster. I think what you need to do is take a look at what is the ecosystem asking for. Huge AI. If you can take what you've learned and then transition that into, this is how I can make things better. There's a lot of things going on right now. I don't know if anybody's heard about the Animals and Health Research Act that the Ford government wants to eliminate any testing on cats and dogs. We are of the mind that we would be the only jurisdiction on this planet with an outright ban on that. Nobody wants to test on animals, period. None. But that's the reality that we face right here. There's a lot of work being done in Europe and the European Union about AI replacing that, but they're not there yet. But as long as you keep on the cusp of that, it comes down to attending some of these symposiums, finding out who are the leaders, the Mark Pattersons of the world, and how can they answer some of the questions that you have.
Kids do a master's. It's a difficult decision for them to go to a PhD because there's this notion that employment opportunities are limited, salaries are hard to come by because universities are not really hiring, there's no job security. And then you go to industry, most pharma, which are the best top hires in Canada, a PhD scientist ends up doing not simply what they were trained to do in PhD. Most of them end up with a medical liaison job because there are actually no labs, not one R&D facility for a big pharma in Canada, not one. They're all processing. So it's a bit of a challenge, getting a person to go from master's to PhD, in my opinion, just to start with, because they go by MBA and then put something else, they get a better pay in industry. The challenge is to motivate kids to do a PhD. And what to do that problem, I started to environment.
Yes, it's a really good question and a really good point. Our job really is to identify the key areas and the gaps that exist within the Canadian landscape. We're hearing from the federal government and the provincial government the importance of life sciences and how that can help us with things like defense, setting ourselves apart from the US, especially with their attacks on science. These are some of the things that we're talking about to these global organizations, saying if you're going to set up clinical trials or if you're going to set up manufacturing, come to Canada, but it's going to take some time.
Step well. I always say a PhD is a degree in leadership. So it's the difference between if you want to work on a team with your master's or if you want to lead a team eventually. That's what I tell my students. Anyone else have any questions? Brandon.
I think, did you mention in BioLabNet?
No.
So you don't work directly with BioLabNet?
What we do is we will support organizations like that. As I say, we do a lot of amplification of organizations and opportunities within the life sciences ecosystem. We're really, if you think about it, a concierge for the life sciences. So, for instance, if somebody comes to me and says, I'm thinking about becoming a member of LSO, what I want to know are what are their goals? Who's their target audience, and what are they looking to invest human and financial capital-wise? The reason I ask those questions is to assess, are there areas of alignment between us? Are there areas of alignment between BioHubNet, OBio, TAP? And if so, then I can direct them that way. So what we want them to do is use this as a central hub so that we can connect the dots for them.
So I'm just going to ask one question. You and I are both missing the self-consciousness gene, and we will talk to anyone at any time. What's your advice for the introverts in the room who have heard your talk about networking and are having a little panic attack because that's intimidating?
Absolutely. You know what? My advice is, if you're thinking about going to a networking event, go. Go in with a strategy. Go in there, even if you go in and say, I want to meet 3 people. Doesn't matter who they are. I want to meet 3 people. And think about some of the questions you might want to be asked yourself. If you've followed Simon Sinek at all, he says the key to networking is not how many people I can meet, it's how many people I connect. So find those people. Go in there with a buddy. The buddy system will always save you, because you start talking to somebody and you immediately, oh, there's no connection here. But this person has something that they did in their research. You might have a better opportunity there. It's just like interviewing. Do it enough times, it becomes second nature. Networking is going to be the key to your success. You cannot escape it. The sooner you embrace it, the better you get at it. And even to this day, you know what? I was on a call with a group of CEOs, and one of the comments that came up was, I don't feel comfortable networking. I hire people to do that. This has put me at ease. So everybody's been in your shoes.
That's great. That's great advice. All right. Any other questions or comments? We will hang out here for a couple minutes if anyone wants to come, and any of the introverts want to come on and do a question one-on-one. Carmen. Okay.
It's so important skill set that is not well placed here.
That's a great compliment.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And I think that's a testament to what we've established as an organization, to be that bridge to support tomorrow's leaders today. I do a lot of work within high schools, colleges, and universities. And the questions are always similar to what we talked about here. How do you fit in within within the institute association? I appreciate it, Ryan, that you'd actually heard of LSO in Ohio, because like many organizations in Canada, we tend to be the best kept secret and we don't want to be. But being able to talk from an industry perspective, give you a different lens. It may not answer all the questions you may have, and you may not take away everything I shared with you, but if you take away one thing, and that is, I have an appetite to learn more, then I've done my role here.
That's great. And remember, guys, we live to serve your Firestone leadership. So if there's something you need or a whole, you have a trainee society, and they have a direct line to me and as you do, and our exec committee. So we live to serve. If there's something you need, you just need to let us know. We'll make it a priority. All right. Well, thank you. That was amazing. I really got all of
Thank you for the opportunity.
so great.
I will give you a heads up that this is the pilot of these presentations to other organizations. So, and to your point, one of the things that has come up is a lot of professionals get asked by students all the time, what are some of the things I need to know if I'm interviewing? And so what we're going to set up within the industry is speed networking opportunities with HR managers, so they can tell them directly. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Follow me up. Do it on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great.